Hello, everyone. How's it going? Happy Thursday. We are officially live with Unfiltered, Unfiltered and Connected on this beautiful Thursday afternoons, fall 2022. Super good to see you all. Let's get into today's topic of lead generation. So every business needs leads to survive. We need some source of customers. There's lots and lots of ways to get leads, and we tend to think way too narrowly about how we generate leads. But the reality is there's a ton of different ways that we can get leads. It's just a matter of how cheap or how expensive are they. So if you break it down, there's really just only so many ways that you can get customers in terms of, like, if you bucket it into categories, right? You can run paid ads somehow. You can do earned media. So those are the followers that you have on the various platforms. There's your owned media. So those would be people who've given you their phone number, their email address, their DM, and giving you permission to contact them. Then you have manual outbound. So that's like you just pick up the phone and cold call people, or you can cold DM people. But these are people who haven't given you permission, who don't have a relationship with you already, and you just reach out to them. And then you can do affiliates, which are other people who have your audience, and you can do sort of they do a full integration of your business into their business. And there's a variety of ways to do that. And then finally, there's like word of mouth and referrals. So more organic word of mouth and referrals. And if you look at it, really the only one of those six, again, so paid, earned media, owned media, outbound, affiliate, and word of mouth referrals, the only one of those six that actually scales exponentially is the last one, right? So with paid media, with paid ads, you have to keep paying or the flood of customers is going to stop. With the followers, you have to keep doing something to build. You have to keep posting. You have to keep doing stuff to build your audience, or it will stop. If you have email that you're emailing people, you have to keep emailing, or it's going to stop. You have to keep growing your list, or it's going to stop. If you are doing cold outbound, you have to keep calling or DMing or whatever it is you're doing for cold traffic, or it's going to stop. With word of mouth and referrals, if you get a customer and they tell two other people that become customers, and they each tell two customers and they become customers, like that can grow really quickly. That grows exponentially. So when you think about getting leads, it's really, really important that you don't forget to take really good care of the customers that you have and that you do get in, so that they tell other people about it. And you want to create systems and processes around this so that you create those moments that wow people, and so that you generate those referrals from people. So that is at the heart of it. Like that's something that you have to do, and that other people, like most people, you don't have to do, but that's how you get real value from the lead generation that you do. Because the fact is that generating leads is more expensive than ever, probably, depending on channel. I don't know exactly, but like if you look at paid ads, the cost to run ads just continues to go up and up and up and up, and there's no end in sight. There's no reason to believe that that's ever going to change. So like people are like, oh my God, like CPMs are so high, right? Like the cost to acquire customers via Facebook or Google or YouTube or whatever is so expensive. Like, what do you, like, like just a year ago, 2 years ago, it was way cheaper. Well, guess what? It's probably never going to be as cheap as it is right now, because the prices just keep going to keep going up. And so what we have to do in order to deal with that is we have to have higher, better quality offers and premium priced offers, and so that we can afford to pay for those leads that come in. And we're going to have to make sure that the customer experience is so fantastic that they keep referring new clients to us, so that once we pay, whatever the amount is to acquire one customer, that customer now turns into 2 to 4 to 8 to 16, etc. Or like 1.5 and whatever the math, the square of that is, right? So you get the point, right? So whatever you do with taking really good care of your customers is gonna add to everything else that you do customers acquisition wise. All right. So right now, because ad costs are so high, you have to be a lot more clever with what you do for ads. I know that a typical way to do it is, right, you have something top of funnel that grabs people's awareness and attention. And that typically will be Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. So Facebook is interrupt driven, right? You're on Facebook doing your thing, and then we show you an ad, and it's not really related to what you were looking for. So is that interrupt driven? So that's good to get awareness from people who are not actively looking for you or your thing. Whereas Google search is very intent driven. So you're like actively searching for something, and then the Google ad shows up. And so that's typically more of a bottom of funnel, meaning, so if you're not familiar with the top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, the idea is top of funnel is where you generate awareness for people, and they're maybe completely unaware. They may know that they have a problem. So there's, in marketing, we talk about the 5 stages of awareness. We can get, like, Google this and you will find more resources on it. But it's basically that you can be unaware, you can be problem aware, you can be solution aware, you can be product aware, and you can be most aware. I think those are the 5. So unaware is like, I don't know that I have a problem. Problem aware is like, I know I have a problem, I have a toothache, but I don't know that there's a solution. Solution is aware is that I know that there's solutions out there. I might not know your solution to it. Product aware is, now I know the problem. I know there's a category of solutions, and I'm also aware of your particular product. And most aware is, I'm aware of all those things, and I have a pretty detailed understanding of your product. So in the top of funnel, we typically get people who are unaware or problem aware, maybe solution aware. You can kind of scale it where you want to hit people. Middle of funnel is typically where we get their email address or their phone number, we get their contact info, and now we can keep working them. Bottom of funnel is where we make the sale. It is where we get them to convert. And usually you have to be kind of clever with how you put it together so that you can do, top of funnel awareness, get them to somewhere where you can then, like, basically pixel them on all the platforms. Now you can retarget them on all the platforms, massage them in the middle of funnel, show them testimonials and yada, yada. And then at the bottom of funnel, when they're ready to make a purchase decision, like, that's where they might be searching on Google, and you find them there, and then you can convert them. So it ends up being a fairly, it's like, I think the days where you just ran an ad and like, here, buy my thing, and then people bought the thing, and that worked, those days are gone, in part because the buyers are more sophisticated, but also in part because it's just too expensive. You can't make the numbers work that way. So the reality is that lead gen is not super easy. It's doable. It's entirely doable, but it's not super easy. What people are doing, though, because this is so the ad costs are so expensive, is that short form video is the thing that people are doing right now, right? I saw another company in our space that was teaching people how to create courses. And then when it came to lead generation, they had 3 strategies. 2 of which are good. One was paid ads, and the other was affiliates, which we'll talk about in a minute. But their third was, and actually their first one was organic LinkedIn, organic Instagram, and just like post stuff on Instagram. For all I know, organic on Instagram has been dead for like 4 years or something at this point, right? You can't build a following just by posting organically on Instagram. It's not how that works. However, where organic does work is on TikTok, because TikTok is not based on followers, it's based on interest. So that means if you're posting a video, it doesn't matter how many followers you have, you post a video, what happens is TikTok is going to show it to, a number of people. And if they engage with it, like if they keep watching and not scroll, if they like, if they share, if they save, if they comment, then they're going to show that video to more people. So now if you can figure out how to create a short video on TikTok that really engages with those people, then that can really take off. And now you have an opportunity. So the most interested people, most of the people are just going to watch it and scroll on to the next thing. But those who are really interested, they're going to go to your profile and now go look you up. And then they go maybe to your YouTube and watch your long form stuff or your podcast, and they get to know you, and then they eventually become a customer. So it's a whole process. And the key to TikTok is you have to think of like the young people, the 17-year-olds, as the gatekeepers, because the majority of the people on the platform are in that age group, and they're the ones that have the most time to sit in the app and scroll all day. And so those are the ones that are like the first people that are going to see your video are going to skew heavily to that demographic. So if they like it, then it'll get wide distribution. And now whoever is in your target audience, who are also on TikTok, just not in the same numbers, but those like 2% maybe who are in your target audience, now they're going to see it, but they're only going to see it if the kids like it. So there's a lot of strategy to how you think about TikTok. And so for those reasons, you 100% can make ads work for you. You just have to you probably have to work with someone who knows what they're doing. We have in our community here, we have Amy Crane, who has her agency. She works with a bunch of Simplero people. She's amazing. So, and very, very fair, reasonably priced. So I would definitely reach out to her if you want to get your ads to work. But like thinking that you can just yourself go post an ad and make that work is a little bit naive. You have to be like, okay, I'm dedicated to make this work, and be willing to put in the time and money to make that work. But you absolutely can. And again, the beautiful thing is like once you dial that in and you pay X dollars to acquire a customer, and you know that they may, on average, they pay you 2x or 3x or 4x, then they refer other clients, right? Now you've got the machine, right? Now you've got a system that actually works and that scales and that you can just continue running. So the other thing that you can do to get started, which I like recommend everybody to strongly consider, and which has brought us very, very far, is partners. So, the partner traffic is where you pay someone to refer their people to you. So they already have an email list of people who are relevant to what you're selling. And now you're like, hey, you get 50% if you refer people to me, right? That is there's zero risk on your part, right? You only pay for the clients that you do get. So now you're just in relationship building territory. It's just a matter of figuring out who are those people, start building relationship. If you identify 50 people who are in your space, who would have those people that you're not directly competing with, and you just start reaching out to them then and saying, hey, like, I have this thing that I think could really help your audience. Like, here's a freebie, a free video, a webinar, a PDF, and a small e-course or something. Could we like share it? Would you be interested in sharing that with your audience? And then like linking back to me, and then like I'll give you an affiliate link, and of course you can set that up in Simplero super easily, and then any sales that you get gets tracked to you, and you get your affiliate commission. Like a number of people are going to say yes to that for sure. And like when you get into the high end, it becomes a very sophisticated game. But like at the middle end, like people who have 10,000 emails or whatever, that can get you really, really far, very cheaply and very, very easily comparably. So yeah, those are some of the lead gen strategies out there. The final one obviously is organic. So organic search, again, competitive. If you know what you're doing, you absolutely can. If you have a more of a niche, you 100% can get traction there. The beautiful thing about that, it takes a while to get started, to get it going, but once it's going, it's the gift that keeps on giving. The trick there is just write really good content, make sure it's optimized for the keywords, and then get people to link to it. And so the link building is the important part. there. I mean, all the parts are important, but it's important that you do link building to figure out how you can get people to link back to your articles, reaching out to publications, reaching out to friends that have blogs or websites or whatever, so that you start to get some links there. And that's how you start to rank. As far as social, again, TikTok has organic reach, LinkedIn has organic reach, and Facebook seems to be changing their algorithm these days to do more of the interest graph like TikTok does. And similar with Instagram, the one thing that does get organic traction on Instagram is Reels, but it's the same game as TikTok. It's basically like what people who are masters at this game does. I'm currently talking to some people who are at the very forefront of that game. What they do is they run the videos first on TikTok, and if they perform well there, they run the same ones on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. But those are the three short form video platforms that are really working today. And that's like, that short form video is where the industry is at right now when it comes to lead generation. So anyway, that's the that's the landscape of lead gen as I see it. Then there's like things like direct mail, actually sending letters or postcards in the mail, right? That stuff still works. And as online gets more expensive, all of a sudden that's more attractive. There's radio ads is a thing, right? Sponsoring podcasts is a thing. Like billboards or ads in the subway and that kind of stuff is a thing. And again, as the online space heats up and gets more expensive, those things might actually be attractive. I haven't done either of those things, but it's definitely something to consider. There is influencers, micro influencers is a strategy. So people who have a following on social media and just reaching out to them. It's kind of like the partner affiliate strategy, but at a lower level. Getting on other people's podcasts and shows and like doing public relations and that kind of stuff is strategy. So there's lots of things. Oh, and one strategy that's really interesting that I'm personally very fascinated with, but that I haven't done, but I want to do at some point, is like, you can actually go buy a Facebook group or like a podcast and like email list newsletter that someone's built up, and they're like, if they don't know how to monetize it and they've built a Facebook group of 10,000 people, and they're like, yeah, I have this group and they're all in your market and they don't know what to do with it. And you're like, all right, I'll buy it for you for $10,000, but I'm only going to pay you after I've actually made that money by selling them, by pitching them my stuff. And then you can actually end up acquiring assets like that, basically no money down, because you're making the money from that group. So that's another. Bottom line, there's lots and lots of ways to get leads. You have to figure out what is the strategy that you want to use that works for you. But my point here is to don't be too narrow-minded about it, because there really are a ton of ways to do it. And remember to always take really good care of your customers so that you get those referrals. That's what I got on the lead gen. So I see we have some questions in the chat. Let's get your hands raised if you have questions that you want to talk to me about. All right, let's do that. I see we have Ray Castle. Let's get Ray Castle on, and we can get to the questions in the chat if we have time.
Great. Hello, everybody from Baton Rouge. Calvin, you hit on a topic I was going to ask a question anyway about the partnerships. And I'm going to be doing that with my continuing education courses, looking to do some partnerships with other companies, because they have lists. I don't, but I'll give them content and reciprocate that back through courses and conferences I do. Around that, what have you seen as the biggest, probably 2 to 3 pitfalls or danger zones that you go if you're going into a partnership that you've seen, or you've seen others have? I really wish I wouldn't have done this when I'm doing this with as a potential partner, to get their email generation and doing some reciprocating on that side.
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake is being too dependent on one partner. That's what I see people doing, right? Where they're like all of a sudden they build a big business and 50% of their customer acquisition is coming from one partner, one channel. That's a very risky situation to be in. And because now all of a sudden that partner has a lot of leverage over you. Yeah, what are your concerns? Because if you're just setting it up as a like an affiliate referral, like they get a link, they get a percentage of the clients, that is, apart from that, that's a fairly risk-free thing to do in my view.
Yeah, I'm going to be working with. I'm in the sports medicine realm, so working with different companies that would have some similar. Obviously, they have an email lead. They have various sectors, but not the big sector. But my goal is to stack those where there's some flow over, that those companies independently, they may not have the same product line, but they can benefit each other in their non-competing. So that's where I'm looking to. Really, the main thing, if there's anything in terms of getting stuck into something, I think you hit on that, is not relying on one horse to be your go-to in the race, and know that you have multiple horses out there.
Exactly. Yeah. And the same thing with like a classic mistake that like freelancers do, right? Is they go out to seek jobs, and then they have some jobs, and then they get busy in, doing those jobs, and then they forget to go out and get new jobs while they're busy. They wait till they run out of work, and then they start chasing new jobs. It's the same kind of thing, as you have these partners that are generating traffic, and you're like, hey, great, like keep having a pipeline to create a system and a process for acquiring these JV partners. So it's just part of what you do, right? As a company, there are certain processes that just have to always be running. And so if partners is one of your key strategies, then like you have to always be acquiring new partners. So every week you like cold email or DM like another 10 people that could be potential partners, just so that you have that ongoing thing.
Great. Thank you.
You bet. My pleasure, man. All right. Cool. So again, yeah, to summarize, like if you're starting out, I would definitely say partners is the number one best, easiest, simplest way to get started. You are dependent on other people. Like if you have no audience, obviously, if you have your existing audience on social media somewhere, and you have a Facebook group or something, then your number one order of business is to convert those people into leads. So by getting their contact info, so that you can reach out to them and make offers. So put a lead magnet in front of them, like just a simple PDF or a video or something that requires them to give their email in order to get it. That's the number one order business. If you have no audience, I would definitely start to look for partners who have an audience. Because the thing is, like when you have an audience and you want to sell something to them, you can go through the trouble of building your own product and recording all of that and running your own course or coaching program or whatever it is, which is a lot of work, right? Or you can just find someone who's already made a product that solves this exact problem and it's proven, and you just partner with them and you get 50% of the revenue just for sending that traffic to them. That's a pretty good deal. So yeah, like there are going to be people who are interested in partnering with you, and it's just a matter of finding those people. All right. So Eno's saying, I don't have much success building a list. Then everything stops up. Had a fantastic picture and everything in the newspaper. 3 emails on my list that cost a fortune. What to do? Yeah, all I can say is like it ain't easy. It really isn't these days. There's just a lot of competition. There's a lot of noise out there. So you have to pick a strategy that you're willing to commit to, and then stick with it and keep going. So press 100% can work. You just have to commit to it and stick with it till it works. All right, we got Chad here. Chad is raising his hand. Let's see.
Yeah, Calvin, I'm just gonna say something that I think would be very insightful for everyone here, is that watch Calvin closely and how he's interacting with all of you, and model that behavior in your marketing. because and so you sit back, and when you're watching a marketing expert like Calvin, why is he approaching situations the way it is, and look to model his behavior, because as you do it, you'll be more successful. Specifically when it comes to, like Calvin's talking about, partners. When you reach out to partners, make sure you're reaching out thinking, how can I make them more successful? And so when you reach out to the partners, don't just be saying, oh, hey, look, I got this to sell, I've got this to sell, hey, I've got this, and you make it yourself the focus. Make them the focus. And for those of you that ever spent time with Calvin, know that that's what he does just naturally. He makes other people feel really good about themselves. And so as you approach partners, model that behavior and think, okay, how am I going to make this partner more successful? And as a result, you'll be more successful. So just a thought. I know that wasn't a question. Calvin didn't want to interrupt the flow, but just wanted to share that insight.
Appreciate it. Yeah, great stuff, Chad. I really appreciate that. That's a good point. Yeah, and so Chad has actually helped us with our partner program here at our trusted advisor program here at Simplero, and that's one of the key tenets of how we've structured that program. It's all about making them more successful in their business and figuring out how we can fit into their business in a way that makes them more successful. Thanks, Chad. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Mybrid is asking to also use Instagram. Is that a good idea? Yes, it is. It is. So I think, like, when I say Facebook ads, is always Facebook and Instagram, and they can 100% work. Again, what I would encourage you to do is look at what ads you're seeing in your feed that you're responding to, like what stands out to you about them, what's good about them, and start modeling what you see in the ads. Another ad platform that we are actually running some ads on YouTube right now, but like YouTube ads are also super interesting, and one of the platforms that I want to invest more heavily into. But yeah, Instagram is a good idea. If we're talking organic Instagram, again, Instagram Reels is where it's at. Those are the ones that are getting distribution if you don't already have an audience. Let's see here. I think that's what we got. Oh, wait, here. Ian's like, when marketing doesn't work out, it drains me from money and I don't have money left for Facebook or YouTube. Yep. Welcome to the game of business in 2022, right? That is how it is. And it's going to cost money before you make money. And there is a risk to it as you invest in ads, which is why it's so important. Like, I'm not going to tell you that you can just like write some like sloppy copy and then put it up on Facebook and you're going to make a bunch of money. Like that was the case a while back, but that is not the case anymore. So it is, if you want to make that work, you have to decide, yes, I'm going to commit to it. You have to put a budget to it and say, I'm willing to invest, between the ad spend and the agency that I'm going to work with. I'm willing to invest, say, $15,000, $20,000 maybe, in order to make this work. But I would say, like, that's probably the budget that you have to have. I don't talk to an agency to get more detail on that, but I would say, like, if you're not willing to invest that in order to make it work, I wouldn't start, because what's going to happen is kind of like the hotels in Vegas. They have they make a ton of money because people have a set number of money that they're willing to lose, right? So people come into the casino with this idea that I'm willing to lose $100 or $500, and they go play until they lost $100 or $500. And so that's how the casino makes a ton of money, right? Because like then you just you go and you literally kind of almost with the intent to lose, especially when you win a little money up front, then you're like, yay, I'm so good. But then you don't stop there because you have a number in your head that you're willing to lose, and you keep playing till you lose that money. And so in the same way with running ads, like, you have to be committed to seeing it through to getting results. And a lot of that is going to come down to the offer. Like, what is your offer? How can you make it, like, if you make your offer so good that people would be stupid to say no, then it's a lot easier for you to make the ads work, right? And it's a lot easier to make referrals work. So it really comes back to what we talked about 3 weeks ago, which is the offer. Can we create an offer that's so powerful and with such a strong guarantee that people literally be crazy to say no, right? Like, you buy my thing, my course, and then we're gonna like, I'm gonna go through this. I'm gonna work with you personally until you have made at least 10 times the amount that you're paying me from whatever I'm selling. I mean, it depends on what you're selling, obviously, but like, I'm gonna guarantee you, like, weight loss, right? Here's a course, here's a program. I'm gonna guarantee you that you will lose 20 pounds and you will keep them off for 8 months, or I'll give you double your money back. I'll keep working with you personally until you get that result. And if you still don't, I'm going to give you all of your money back and pay for your kids' college. I don't know. Oh, that might be a little stretching a little bit, but but you make an offer that's like, oh my God, like, I would be an idiot to not say yes to this, right? Then everything else works so much better. And then you can charge a lot of money, right? So you can, if you're like, just like another weight loss book, like, there's tons of videos for free, right? A book costs maybe like $10, $15, something. And then a course on like some weight loss thing might cost, $150 or something. But if you actually make a program where there's coaching and there is this type of guarantee, then like, you're going to lose 20 pounds in the first 60 days and you're going to keep it off for 8 months and whatever that, and you guarantee it with double your money back and something else, etc. Then it's much easier to sell. And then your ads are going to work so much better, and everything else, referrals, everything else is going to work so much better. So yeah, that's how you win. The offer has to be just really freaking good, and you have to be willing to really deliver on it and give people an amazing experience, and then you can create something amazing. Then you can really win. And then if you also have order bumps and upsells and all those things, so that you make more money from each individual sale, then you can really crush it. So yeah, that's how you want to think about lead gen.
Carrie's got a question for you, Calvin.
Yeah.
I don't think she's put her hand up yet, but go for it, Carrie.
Right.
Okay. I just put my hand up and lowered my hand. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. So I do animated explainer videos, and I have been focusing on, a lot of one-offs. This is a new niche service for me, and I've been getting some conversions with one-offs, but I'm realizing, I really need to sell packages of videos to make this scalable. And so the people I've helped so far have been like what I call service-based business owners or self-branded business owners, like attorneys, realtors, consultants. But I'm starting to think, like, if I niched into onboarding and did it for organizations, whether that's onboarding for, employees or client onboarding or whatever, getting people into the culture, into the system, would be more effective, perhaps for me and for the client. So that's a brand new audience for me. In fact, it was conversations I've had with other people have suggested, you want to target industries that are high turnover, so you can make the argument of, it would save you money if you onboard them appropriately and so forth. And so it would be a brand new niche, a new audience. How could I get some quick conversions, you think, with doing that?
Well, so conversion is all like, do you have the prospects already? Do you have the leads already? Or
No.
are you talking about like going out and finding those?
Yeah, going out and finding them, like starting from scratch. Yeah. I do have one person that said, she used to work in that industry, and she'd be willing to introduce me to some people. So I may have some, traction. But let's say I didn't have her, because when I first had this idea, I was like, oh my God, where do I begin?
That's a good point, right? Like any kind of referrals, like ask your friends, your network. Does anybody know anyone in this business who needs something? That's a really good place to start. And then, well, the nice thing is like anything that you can, where you can kind of target, like, the phone book, you can buy contact info of different business types from a variety of sources. You can do, a friend of mine has a company, Thumos. They do data scraping. So if you give them the profile of who you're looking for, they will scrape the web and then find the email address and phone number, and then you can do cold outreach and
Oh, I need that.
either
Yeah, I need that suggestion.
email or phone. Yeah. And so when you have a specific industry like that, then it becomes really easy, right? If you're like targeting whatever, like doctors, plumbers, or whatever, like if you can list some professions with high turnover that you think could be good targets, and then you can outreach to them. And if you find that you can buy, there's companies out there, SurveyMonkey, ZoomInfo, a bunch of companies that will sell you contact information of those people. And then if you have their email and their phone number, you can not only can you call them or email them. That's one approach, and it absolutely works. And you can also like cold DM on social media, like hiring an intern to do DMs on Instagram and Facebook all day. That totally works as well. And just to get that, and there are scripts for that. So just to get that initial contact, to get them on a phone call or something, that absolutely works too. But what you can also do is when you have their email address, phone number of a person, then you can put them into custom audience on the different ad platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn, and I'm sure Google as well. I haven't played with that, but like you can create a custom audience based on those email addresses, and then you can target those specific people with ads now, right? So very, very kind of very targeted approach, and that's fairly inexpensive. So, and then you can call them because now they've seen you, right? If you do that across, like this is the classic thing that people do is you get people with ads. Like in your case, you already have the person, and then, but if you find them on Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or one of those different platforms, you drive them to a page on your site that has all the pixels, and now you can retarget them across all the platforms. Like it's called omnipresent retargeting. And then they feel like you're everywhere. Like all of a sudden out of the blue, like everybody Carrie everywhere. Like what? Like it's crazy. She must be like really big because I keep hearing about her. She keeps popping up, right? And then you call them and then they've already heard about you. So that can be a powerful strategy.
I'm writing that down. And then could you also share with me the company, the link that what'd you mention? How is it spelled?
Yeah, Thumos, Thumos. It generally only works though if you're like, I think your offer needs to be in the $10,000 range and above before it really makes sense. But I've been friends with the guy Eric he's been on my podcast. If you check out my personal YouTube, there's an interview I did with him recently that was posted, Eric Sullivan, where we have a deep talk about the inner growth journey as entrepreneurs. But I've been wanting to work with him for a while, and we have a meeting tomorrow to see how we can work together for Simplero.
That sounds good.
So, yeah. Thumos.
Follow-up question really quick.
Yeah.
How do you feel about like networking? I mean, someone gave me the suggestion recently about being more, and they used a word I probably wouldn't use, but they said, you need to be more predatory with your networking, because I was expressing a little frustration with, all this networking and being not really sure I'm in the right room, or, what am I doing this for? What's my ROI on this? And they were like, you need to just go after the people exactly who you want to talk to. So any thoughts on that?
Well, I think so. Yeah, I'm a little cautious about the word predatory, right? So I think of business. The core of business is relationship building. So if you come off as someone that people don't want to build a relationship with, I don't think that's a good approach, right? Like, yeah. So you want to, but I think it's smart to be targeted, right? Like if you look at the group and you figure out ahead of time, like these are the people that I really want to meet with, and then trick again is reach out to them ahead of time, so that they've already heard of you and they have that. So then you meet them at the event, and now it's a warm connection versus a cold that you have to breach, right? So that always works a lot better. Is like, hey, I see that you're coming to this event. Also, like, I'd really love to talk to you. And then, like Chad said before, think about, how do I make it about them? How do we make them successful? How do I make them win? instead of
agree.
what do I need here. And
Awesome.
and for me, always my default position is just, I just want to make friends. I just want to build relationships, honestly. Because that's what makes it fun. And then we also, like Eric and I, we've been, friends for if a couple of years, and then like then now we get to do business together because it makes sense, right? So yeah, I just want to build those relationships.
It's true, and I'm relationship oriented too, but I've definitely had conversations, especially recently, about it's such a long game. Like, how do I speed this up? How do I scale this? Like, meeting people and building a relationship, it takes so much time. It's important, and I value it, and it's how I lead, myself, my conduct. But it's like, wow, how do I scale this?
Well, if you have but you can totally speed it up, because if you have something where like if you approach it like Eric, for example, right? Like, we just didn't have because he only works for more high ticket stuff, and we didn't really have any high ticket offers. So it wasn't a connect in that way. Now we have some high ticket stuff in the works. And so now it makes sense. But if it had made sense, then we could have immediately gone from like, dude, you're an awesome, cool dude. Let's be friends, and like, yeah, let's do business, because why not? Like, that's super fun. And it's especially fun with your friends. So if you approach it with that, if you're targeted in that way, if you're seeking out the people that where you can create a win-win situation with them, and then you strike out but more not like, hey, I have this product, will you promote it, right? But you're like, hey, I saw you, it looks like you're doing something really cool, interesting, I want to get to know you, and like, maybe we can do some business together, but like, let me get to know you first, right? But it doesn't have to take that long.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. All right. Let's see here. Oh yeah, we got another raised hand. Sweet.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Laura?
Hi there. So my situation is that I'm a teacher. I teach Spanish to children mainly, and I do it through storytelling, puppet shows, songs. Like, it's super cute, and it has a very good response from parents. But in the last year, it was also COVID, right? I do it online. And I was just, my strategy was, I had a Facebook group that was growing slowly but surely. And I was just posting free classes. And I had like the classes like with waiting list. It was like insane. I was just posting a few groups in Facebook, and I was having like lots of likes, lots of like list down of people like, I want to join. Okay, so suddenly, in the last maybe 3 months, let's say, summertime to now, I see that I do the free classes. And from the free classes, I had like a 90% conversion. Like, people would just register right away. And but now it has completely changed. I almost have no likes in Facebook. I almost have no responses in my own group. And it seems that the strategy is just not working. And it's kind of like a very sudden change, like from having a lot to have very little. And I'm wondering if it's something that maybe you have seen, that Facebook groups are maybe not anymore a way to communicate, and it's more like video reels, or like, I don't know, it's I've been really, to fill up this fall cycle of classes, I have had to really fish each person almost personally. It has been so much work. I'm wondering what to do, because the classes are still the same. I have really good reviews from the parents. So it has been, oh my gosh, so intense just to get the parents registered. There is inflation. I get it.
No, but it sounds like, it sounds like something changed in the algorithm, right? Do you have people's email addresses as well, or are they just in the group?
I do have their email addresses, and I have not gotten many answers from them either. I have not been very consistent on sending emails. It's also true. So I don't have a super consistent strategy there.
Right.
I also have little children, so I do what I can, my best. But it has been a very sudden change.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any insights on that. Like, what comes to mind is like if you've been like talking negatively about the vaccine and getting shadow banned or stuff like that. Like that's like maybe that's what happened. I don't know. What I would do is like I would just Google or asking some other groups and try to see if this is a thing. Like see if you can find other people with Facebook groups to that if this is something that people are experiencing. I recently joined a free Facebook group called Nothing Held Back with a bunch of marketers. It's pretty effective. So you might be able to find some people in there, for example,
Okay.
that have any insight into that. I have zero insight into that specifically. If there was an algorithm change, I would like, this is why you want to make sure that you always get people on your email list and that you keep that going and keep that warm, because that's the only thing that you have control over. If you have people's email address, their phone number, those you can reach directly. There's some intermediation going, like Gmail, and there's basically an oligopoly in the email space, right? Gmail between Google and Apple and Microsoft, they kind of own that market, but still it's less controlled. Whereas if you have followers on Facebook or YouTube or in a Facebook group or whatever, you're always going to be at the mercy of the platform and their algorithm changes. So you don't really own those leads. So that is the danger. The other thing I would do is research, try to find out, like asking some of the people there, hey, are you seeing my stuff? Like, did you see it drop? Like try to see if you can talk to some people and figure out like, hey, did something change with you, just to get some rich intel on that as well. Was it something in the market, or was it something in the algorithm, or is it a combination of both? Because that seems pretty dramatic.
Yeah, it's been very, very drastic. And so which other platform, while I research that for Facebook, would be your choice? Let's say, like if I think about putting my energy somewhere else, or like maybe diversify the platforms a bit more, would you do like Instagram, TikTok? What would be your choice?
Well, it depends on your proclivities, right? If you're up for playing the short video game, that's where it's at, right? Again, so the key to winning there is to create really compelling content, 30, 60 seconds or less. You have to have a very strong hook. You have to make topics that are very broadly appealing. So it doesn't have to be about your topic of expertise. It can be about random, ordinary life things, because like the broader it is, the more likely it is that those 17-year-olds who see it first, that they're going to engage with it, and they're going to then make everybody else see it. But if you're willing to play that game and you like video, that's where it's at right now. So I'm definitely investing in that route. We're also investing personally in the ad game. I'm taking a holistic approach to it. So we're starting. We've never run really ads before, so I'm starting with Facebook and Instagram just to get that dialed in. But then my plan is to do Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and Google and do the omnipresent thing and like really invest in building that whole machinery up. Again, that's also quite a project. And one of the big pieces there is the whole tracking thing, which I'm currently wrapping my head around, that just so that you know what the hell is working and how it's all interacting, across all of it. So I'll be sure to share with you guys our wins and losses and learnings as I get into it. But this is the first time that I'm taking a serious deep dive into the ad game. So I'll share what we learn. But yeah, those two.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. But it depends, like there's so many options, right? So it really depends on where are your people? Where do they hang out? Like, meetups and networking groups is another one that can work. What I'd also do, by the way, is like make sure that every single person who has bought something from you in the past, if you have their contact info, reach out again. Maybe they can be repeat buyers. Maybe they want to buy again, the same thing or something else. Maybe like ask them for referrals. Hey, like if you liked your experience, it would mean the world for me if you could think of just one or two specific people that you would introduce me to that you think might also enjoy it, and then get that referral engine going. I would 100% also do that.
Very good. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. All right, everybody, that concludes the session for today. Super good to see you all again, and we'll be back here a week from now. We're going to do this every Thursday at 1 p.m. except maybe there is one Thursday in November. So I have a ticket for riding my bicycle across a red light in Manhattan, like 3 years ago in 2019, and I didn't pay the fine. Because in this country, it fascinates me, you can actually dispute a traffic ticket by going to court. And so I was supposed to be in court in 2020, and then COVID, and then it got pushed out. And so now I have a court date at some point. It's in November, and it's literally a Thursday at 1 p.m. And I can't move that court date anymore because it's been moved so many times. So I guess I'm gonna have to miss the show this one Thursday, unfortunately. I could pay the fine. They want $290 for freaking like a red light on a bicycle. It's crazy. But I also kind of want to see how that works when you show up in court and you just like dispute your ticket. And I'm being told that if the officer that ticketed you doesn't show up, you get to go free. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted. Maybe we can do the show live from the court, and I can live stream it. We'll see how that goes. So every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you for everybody showing up. It's fantastic to see you. I appreciate you all. I love the community that we're creating here. I love the questions that we're getting. Really appreciate you all for asking questions. And we haven't come up with a topic for next week, but we will. Let me know, like, not in the chat here because it disappears, but maybe email me at calvin@simplero.com with what topics you would like to see covered. So why not start with your topics, with what you most want to hear about, so then I can put something together on that. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a phenomenal Thursday. I will see you guys next week. Much love.